Good morning, everyone. I like to do videos where I teach you about different scams, schemes, frauds, things like that you may not otherwise know to look out for. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be talking about an interesting story that came out of the Cancun Riviera Maya area recently about a band of luggage thieves targeting tourists who rent cars. I'll tell you right up front, this doesn't have anything to do with like violent robberies or anything. They're much sneakier than that. In fact, their MO is pretty unusual, and that's why I decided to do a video about it to help prevent our viewers from falling victim to this scheme. Before we get into it, as usual, gotta have some coffee. So here's what they're doing. Our luggage thieves have partnered with or have some connection to someone involved in renting the vehicle itself. Our luggage thieves then track the rental vehicles via GPS, and they have a set of duplicate keys with them. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Now, I can tell you from experience that it is not uncommon for tourists, especially those staying at an Airbnb, to stop by Walmart or a grocery store on their way from the airport to the Airbnb. I mean, the distance from like Cancun to Tulum is over an hour and a half. I mean, why not, right? It's the middle of the day, you're passing by anyway, you're just gonna run in for a minute. What could go wrong? Well, that's when our luggage thieves strike. They pull up, pop the trunk, load all your bags into their car, and they're gone. Literally, this takes less than a minute. Our victims come out a short time later, pop the trunk, and all their belongings are gone, but there is no forced entry on the car. This is where our recent news story comes in. You see, this same thing happened to a group of tourists from Brazil. After renting a car at the Cancun airport, they stopped by a Walmart in Playa del Carmen to shop. When they came out, same story, no forced entry, everything gone. 7 suitcases had been stolen. Fortunately, in their case, they were able to track a cell phone and a computer that had been left in one of the suitcases. See how that GPS thing works both ways? So accompanied by the police, they went to the location where the items were believed to be. Now, the police kind of looked around and they found a neighbor with a surveillance camera and they asked, "Hey, can we look at your video?" And the guy was like, "Yeah." That's kind of a reenactment. I might not have played out exactly like that. Anyway, the neighbor's video clearly showed a man, a woman, and a child unloading those 7 suitcases and putting them in the target residence. Sounds like a nice family-run business. According to the news, police then made contact with the perps and recovered all of the property. That's good news. This is normally the point in those crime articles where it says the police arrested some folks, and then they show a picture of the alleged perpetrators with their faces blurred. Anyway, in this particular case, there are no reports of an arrest being made yet. All it says is that the matter is under investigation. There's also no mention of which rental car company or companies may potentially be involved. This wasn't an isolated incident, nor do I think that this sort of thing's going to stop just because, the police were able to recover some property in this case. I've been hearing about cases like this for several years now in the Riviera Maya area. It even happened to some of our friends a few years back. Same story. They flew into the Cancun airport, rented a car, stopped at the Chedraui in Portaventuras to do some shopping before going to their condo in Akumal. When they came out, everything was gone, but there was no forced entry on the vehicle. They had passports stolen, luggage. They also had computers stolen, but they weren't able to track them. Their belongings were never recovered, and there were no arrests made in that case either. Now that you're aware that this sort of thing does happen, to avoid being a victim, you just have to change your behavior a little bit. For example, if you do insist on stopping somewhere between the airport and your Airbnb, don't leave belongings alone in the car. Make sure that one of you kind of just sits out there in the Walmart parking lot or wherever you are until the other one's done shopping. Like I said, these are not crimes of violence, they're just crimes of opportunity, so you should be fine. Even if you're not going to or from the airport with all your belongings, it's a good idea not to leave anything of value in your rental car at any time. Just use your rental car to get from point A to point B, and then when you park, take your belongings with you. Well, that's it for today. If you found the video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, hasta luego.